The bus rattled through the pothole-filled streets of the outskirts of São Paulo. Marina held her torn purse tightly on her lap, her eyes fixed on the window blurred by the rain. At 24 years old, she carried an entire lifetime of struggles on her back. A mother at 16, a widow at 20, with an 8-year-old son waiting at home with a sick grandmother. The newspaper ad seemed too good to be true. Domestic worker needed. Large house. Above average salary. Urgent. But Marina was desperate. Rent overdue, bills piling up, her mother's expensive medicine she needed to buy. The mansion in Jardim Europa took her breath away. 3 floors of pure luxury, gardens that looked like they came straight out of a magazine, an iron gate that slowly opened as if swallowing her into another world. "Are you the candidate?" An elegant woman, wearing high heels and an impeccable tailored suit, greeted her at the door. It was Beatriz, the housekeeper. Cold eyes, lips in a straight line. "Mr. Ricardo is expecting you." Marina entered a gigantic living room. Expensive paintings on the walls, a grand piano in the corner, furniture that cost more than she would earn in years. And there, with his back to the window, stood him. Ricardo Mendez, 38 years old, owner of one of the largest construction companies in the country. Black hair streaked with gray, broad shoulders, dark green eyes that seemed to carry the weight of the world. But it was his expression that frightened Marina the most, that of a man broken on the inside. "Do you have experience with children?" he asked, his voice hoarse. "I have a son, sir. 8 years old." "I didn't ask if you're a mother. I asked if you have experience," he said coldly. Marina swallowed hard. "I've taken care of children in my neighborhood, sir. I've always liked it. But I'm here for the domestic worker position, not as a nanny." "I know," Ricardo sighed, running a hand over his face. "But I need you to understand the situation of this house before you accept." He guided her up the marble stairs. On the second floor, in a pink bedroom decorated like a princess's room, there was a crib adapted for an older child. And inside it, sleeping restlessly, was the most beautiful little girl Marina had ever seen. Sophia. 3 years old, golden blonde curly hair, rosy cheeks, long eyelashes that trembled as she dreamed. But something was wrong. Marina noticed it immediately. The child's eyes moved erratically beneath her eyelids, and she had a tense expression even while sleeping. "My daughter," Ricardo said, his voice breaking. "Sophia was born premature. She suffered from retinopathy of prematurity. She is completely blind." Marina felt her heart tighten. "I'm so sorry, sir." "She also has developmental delays," Ricardo continued, his eyes fixed on his daughter. "She still doesn't speak, barely communicate. The doctors say it's trauma. Because..." He stopped, his shoulders shaking. "Because my wife tried to kill her." The silence that followed was deafening. Marina couldn't sleep that first night. She accepted the job, she needed it too much. But Ricardo's words echoed in her mind like a waking nightmare. The next morning, while cleaning the gigantic kitchen, Beatriz approached with a cup of coffee. "You look lost," the housekeeper said, in a tone that could have been solidarity or a warning. "He told me about his wife." Beatriz sighed, sitting at the table. "Helena. Beautiful like a model, ambitious like a shark. Ricardo fell madly in love. They married too quickly. When she got pregnant, she seemed happy, but..." The housekeeper glanced toward the stairs, as if Helena might still appear. "The birth was terrible. Sophia was born at 6 months, weighing less than a kilo. She spent 3 months in the neonatal ICU. When they finally brought the baby home, the doctors confirmed it. Irreversible blindness, possible cognitive issues." Marina felt nauseous. "And Helena?" "Helena fell into severe postpartum depression. But there was something else. Hatred. She hated that child. She said Sophia had stolen her beauty, her body, her life. Ricardo tried to help, paid for the best psychiatrists, but..." Beatriz closed her eyes. "One night, 6 months ago, Helena went into Sophia's room with a pillow. I heard the screams, the muffled crying. I arrived in time. The baby was purple, barely breathing. Helena was standing there, staring at her own hands as if she didn't recognize them. My God! Ricardo threw Helena out of the house that same night. She's been admitted to a private psychiatric clinic. He pays for everything, but he's never visited her again. And Sophia, the child, changed. She used to smile, to babble. After that night, she shut down, as if she knew her own mother wanted her dead. Marina went up to Sophia's room. The girl was awake, sitting in the crib, her head rocking from side to side in a repetitive movement. "Hi, princess," Marina said softly, approaching. Sophia stopped immediately, her body tense, her cloudy blue eyes fixed on nothing, yet attentive to the sound. "My name is Marina. I came to take care of the house, but I can also be your friend. Will you accept me?" Silence. Then, to Marina's astonishment, Sophia stretched out a small, trembling hand toward the voice. Marina took that tiny hand and something broke inside her. That child wasn't just blind. She was lost in her own darkness, in a world where even her mother had rejected her. "I promise," Marina whispered, tears streaming down, "that I will protect you." Always, days turned into weeks. Marina woke up at 5 in the morning, prepared breakfast, cleaned the enormous house, cooked, organized everything. But her heart was always in Sophia's room. During breaks, she climbed the stairs. She sang to the girl, even without a response. She described the world. "The sun is rising, Sophia. It's warm, orange-colored. The little birds are singing outside. Can you hear them?" Sophia remained still, but Marina swore she saw something changing. A tremble in her lips, a different movement of her head. Ricardo watched from a distance. He came home late from work, exhausted, but always stopped at his daughter's bedroom door. He watched Marina singing, talking, offering affection that was not returned. "Why do you do this?" he asked one night, leaning against the doorframe. Marina startled. She hadn't heard him arrive. "Do what, sir?" "Talk to her. You know she doesn't respond. The doctors said she might never respond." Marina looked at Sophia, who was sleeping peacefully for the first time in weeks. "Because she listens," Marina said simply. "Because deep in that darkness, there's a little girl who needs to know she is loved. That she's not a mistake. That she matters." Ricardo felt something stir in his chest. Something that had been dead for a long time. "Do you have children?" he asked. "One son. Lucas. 8 years old. He lives with my mother. It must be hard being away from him." "It is," Marina admitted, her voice trembling. "But I do it for him. To give him a better life. And because," she looked at Sophia, "because every child deserves someone who fights for them." That night, Ricardo couldn't sleep. He went down to the kitchen at 3 in the morning and found Marina there, quietly crying while drinking tea. "Marina? Are you okay?" She quickly wiped her eyes. "Yes, sir. Just missing my little boy." Ricardo sat beside her. And for the first time in months he truly talked. He spoke about Helena, about the guilt he carried for not seeing the signs, about the fear of not knowing how to be a father alone. "I look at Sophia and see my failure," he confessed. "I couldn't protect her. I can't reach her now." "You didn't fail," Marina held his hand without thinking. "You're here. You fight every day. That is love, Mr. Ricardo. Love isn't perfection. It's presence." Ricardo's eyes shone. And there, in the silent kitchen, between two wounded souls, something began to bloom. 3 months later, the impossible happened. Marina was singing to Sophia, as she did every morning, a lullaby her mother had taught her. Suddenly, she heard a sound. Faint, shaky, but unmistakable. Sophia was trying to hum along. "Sophia?" Marina picked the girl up in her arms, her heart racing. "Are you singing? Sing again, my love. Sing." And then, like a miracle, Sophia opened her little mouth and released a sound that was almost a melody. They weren't words, but it was music. It was communication. It was life. Marina ran downstairs, shouting, "Mr. Ricardo! Mr. Ricardo!" Ricardo was in his office in an important video conference. He ran out when he heard the screams. What happened? Is she okay? She sang. Marina laughed and cried at the same time. Sophia sang with me. Ricardo took his daughter in his arms, incredulous. He began to sing the same song, his voice trembling. And Sophia, for the first time in 6 months, made a sound. Then another. And another. They weren't words, but they were attempts. It was the girl fighting to emerge from the darkness. Ricardo hugged Marina with one arm, Sophia in the other, and cried. He cried years of pain, guilt, fear. And Marina cried with him, their bodies intertwined in an embrace that meant more than words could ever express. In the months that followed, Sophia blossomed. She began to babble "ma" to Marina. She smiled when she heard her father's voice. She accepted hugs. She played with textures Marina offered her. And Marina and Ricardo grew closer in ways neither of them had expected. It started with lingering looks, hands touching as they picked Sophia up together. Conversations that stretched into the early morning hours. Ricardo discovered that Marina was intelligent, cultured despite little formal education, funny, strong. Marina discovered that behind the cold businessman there was a sensitive man, broken, but desperately trying to fix things. "This is wrong," Marina said one night, when Ricardo held her hand in the kitchen. "I'm your employee. You're my boss. There are differences." "Differences?" Ricardo interrupted her. "Marina, you saved my daughter. You brought life back to this house. To me. I don't care about differences in class, money, any of that. I only care about what I feel here." He placed her hand over his heart. "And I feel it too," Marina confessed, tears streaming down her face. "But I'm afraid. I'm afraid this is just a moment. That one day you'll wake up and see that I'm just a domestic worker, uneducated, without—" Ricardo kissed her. He cut off the words with a desperate kiss, filled with months of restraint, denial, and fighting the inevitable. "You are not just anything," he said when they parted. "You are everything." Happiness, however, comes at a price. Beatriz was the first to notice. The housekeeper saw the way Ricardo looked at Marina, how they disappeared together after Sophia fell asleep, how the boss smiled again. And Beatriz, who had worked there for 15 years, who loved Ricardo in silence, who swallowed the pain of seeing him marry Helena, felt hatred grow. "Do you really think he loves you?" Beatriz confronted Marina in the laundry room. "You're convenient. You're here, you take care of his daughter, you warm his bed. But when he gets tired of you, when someone from his class appears—" "Beatriz, please. You're nothing but a scheming maid." She spat. "Using a disabled child to get ahead in life." The slap echoed through the laundry room. Marina had struck her before thinking. "Don't speak like that about Sophia." Marina trembled with rage. "And don't you dare judge my feelings." Beatriz smiled, a cruel smile. "You'll regret this." 2 weeks later, Helena appeared. Marina was preparing lunch when she heard the gate open. A woman stepped out of a luxury car. 2 thin, deep dark circles under her eyes, but still beautiful in a disturbing way. Platinum blonde hair, designer clothes. "Where is my daughter?" Helena demanded, entering the house as if it were still hers. Ricardo ran down the stairs. "Helena? How did you? How did I leave the clinic?" She laughed, a joyless sound. "I'm cured, Ricardo. 6 months of intensive therapy. I came to get my daughter." "You're insane." Ricardo blocked the stairs. "You tried to kill her." "I was sick," Helena screamed. "But now I'm well. And I have rights. I'm her mother." Marina watched from the kitchen, her heart in her throat. Sophia was upstairs, asleep, unaware of the danger. "You're not getting anywhere near her," Ricardo said, his voice dangerously low. "Oh really?" Helena smiled. "Then I'll see what my lawyers think about that. And I'll tell them about your little maid girlfriend. I'm sure a judge will love knowing that you exposed our daughter to an unqualified servant while you were having fun with her." Marina felt the ground disappear beneath her feet. "It was Beatriz," she whispered. Beatriz told her. Ricardo looked at the housekeeper, who was watching from the doorway with barely disguised satisfaction. "Get out of my house," he said. "Now." "With pleasure," Beatrice shot back. "But Helena is right. A man in your position, a respected businessman, sleeping with the maid? With a disabled daughter exposed to this. Finish that sentence and I'll sue you." Ricardo stepped forward. Helena laughed. "See you in court, darling. And when I get custody of Sophia, I'll make sure she never sees you or your prostitute maid again." The following months were hell. Helena filed for custody. Her lawyers were the best, expensive, relentless. They argued that Ricardo was a negligent father, that he exposed his daughter to an inappropriate environment, that he was having an improper affair with an unqualified employee to care for a child with special needs. The media found out. Tabloids splashed headlines. "Businessman dumps wife for maid. Mother fights for disabled daughter. Love triangle in luxury mansion." Marina was publicly humiliated. Called a gold digger, a schemer, a homewrecker. Journalists camped outside her house, frightening her son, disturbing her sick mother. "I should leave," Marina cried in Ricardo's arms. "I'm destroying everything. Sophia, your company." "No," Ricardo held her face. "Don't you dare give up on me. On us. I love you, Marina. And I will fight." But the battle seemed lost. Helena had testimonies from doctors, therapists, paid experts, who claimed Sophia needed professional care, not a domestic worker playing at being a mother. The day of the hearing arrived. Marina sat at the back of the courtroom, watching Helena on the witness stand, beautiful, composed, crying delicately as she spoke about how she missed her daughter, how the treatment had cured her, how Ricardo had prevented her from seeing Sophia. "I made terrible mistakes," Helena sobbed, the performance perfect. "But I was sick. Now I'm cured and I want my daughter back. I want to give her the care she deserves, with qualified professionals, not with—" She looked at Marina with disdain. "Opportunistic adventurers." Ricardo's lawyer presented the evidence. Medical reports about the attempted homicide, Helena's psychiatric evaluations, photos of Sophia before and after Marina arrived. "Your Honor," the lawyer argued, "Sophia was in an emotionally vegetative state. She didn't communicate, didn't react. Since Ms. Marina began caring for her, the child has made remarkable progress. She babbles, smiles, interacts. Because she is finally receiving proper care." Helena's lawyer snapped back. "Care that Mr. Ricardo should have provided from the beginning, instead of transferring responsibility to a maid he is having an affair with." The judge, a woman in her 60s, eyes tired of witnessing family dramas, sighed. "I will speak with the child," she decided. "But Your Honor," Helena's lawyer protested, "the child is blind and practically nonverbal." "Exactly why I want to meet her in person," the judge replied. The judge, 2 social workers, and a child psychologist went to the mansion 3 days later. Sophia was in her room with Marina, playing with different textures Marina had prepared. "Hi, Sophia," Marina said gently. "This is cotton. It's soft like a cloud. And this is sandpaper. It's rough, you have to be careful." Sophia touched each texture, babbling different sounds for each one. When she heard Marina's voice, she turned her little face toward her, a smile lighting up her features. Ma," Sophia said, reaching for Marina with her little hands. Marina picked her up, covering her face with kisses. "Yes, my love. I'm here. I'll always be here." That's when they noticed the judge standing in the doorway. "Sorry to interrupt," the judge said softly. "Please continue." Marina continued the play, explaining textures, singing, talking. Sophia was radiant, active, present. "Was she always like this?" the judge asked. "No," Ricardo replied, standing beside the judge. When she tried. Sophia went months without reacting. The doctors thought she would never come out of that state. Until Marina arrived. The judge stepped closer. She sat beside Marina. "Hello, Sophia. My name is Regina. May I play with you?" Sophia reacted to the new voice, her body tensing. It's okay, princess, Marina encouraged. Regina is nice. The judge spent an hour there. She observed how Sophia reacted to Marina, how she sought her lap, how she calmed down at her voice. She observed Ricardo interacting with his daughter, with genuine love, but also with the insecurity of someone still learning. Then, the judge asked Helena to enter. Helena was beautiful, perfect makeup, elegant dress. But when she entered the room, something changed. Sophia sensed the presence. Even blind, even without fully understanding, something primal, instinctive, made the girl stiffen. She began to cry, an anguished, desperate cry. Sophia, my love. Helena approached, trying to touch her daughter. The scream Sophia let out froze everyone's blood in the room. It was a scream of pure terror, animal, a child sensing mortal danger. Get her out of here! Marina shouted, hugging Sophia. She's scaring her. I'm her mother. Helena shouted back. Enough. The judge ordered. Mrs. Helena, leave the room. Now. When Helena left, Sophia continued crying for long minute. Marina rocked her, sang, whispered, until the girl finally calmed down, trembling in the arms of the only mother she truly knew. The judge had seen enough. The sentence was read 2 weeks later. The courtroom was packed. Reporters, onlookers, family members from both sides. After analyzing all the evidence, testimonies, and personally meeting the minor Sofia Mendez, the judge began, I have reached a decision that I believe is in the best interest of the child. Helena gripped her handkerchief tightly, confident. Marina prayed silently, holding Ricardo's hand beneath the table. Mrs. Helena Mendez presented reports proving successful psychiatric treatment, the judge continued. However, the child's reaction to the presence of her biological mother was unequivocal. Sophia demonstrated genuine terror, a trauma that cannot be ignored. Helena went pale. On the other hand, in the presence of Ms. Marina Silva, the child showed healthy, affectionate behaviors, demonstrating a clear emotional bond. Medical reports confirm significant advances in Sophia's development since Ms. Marina's arrival. The judge paused, looking directly at Helena. As for the accusations of an inappropriate relationship between Mr. Ricardo and Ms. Marina, although unconventional, I found no evidence that this harms the child. On the contrary, Sophia appears to benefit from the presence of both. But Your Honor, Helena's lawyer began. Silence. The judge struck the gavel. My decision is as follows. Full custody of Sofia Mendez remains with her father, Mr. Ricardo Mendez. Mrs. Helena Mendez will have the right to supervised visits, once a month, in a neutral environment, with psychological supervision for both her and the child. No. Helena screamed, standing up. She is my daughter. You, the judge said sternly, attempted to take this child's life. That you had psychiatric problems is understandable and deserved treatment. But Sophia's safety and well-being are the absolute priority. You will have to earn your daughter's trust gradually, if that is even possible. Helena collapsed into tears, but they were tears of rage, not remorse. Ricardo embraced Marina right there in the courtroom, under the flashes of cameras, under judgmental stares. We won, he whispered. We won. The following months were about rebuilding. The media eventually lost interest. Helena tried 2 more times to overturn the decision, without success. During supervised visits, Sophia remained tense, distant, sometimes crying. Psychologists suggested that Helena temporarily stop the visits until Sophia was emotionally stronger. Marina officially moved into the mansion, no longer as a maid, but as Ricardo's partner and Sophia's adoptive mother. She brought her son Lucas, who instantly fell in love with his blind, little sister. Do you see with your hands? Lucas asked Sophia one day. She sees with her heart, Marina explained. Cool. Lucas decided. Then I'll teach her to play soccer with her heart. Ricardo and Marina married in a small ceremony in the mansion's garden. Sophia was the flower girl, guided by Lucas. She wore a white dress full of little bells, so she could feel the movement as she walked. Ma, Sophia said when Marina knelt down to kiss her. Yes, my daughter, Marina cried. I am your mother. Forever. 1 year after the wedding, Marina discovered she was pregnant. Sophia is going to have a little brother, Ricardo announced to his daughter, emotional. Sophia touched Marina's belly with curiosity. And then, for the first time, she formed a complete word. Bye. Baby. Marina shouted. She said baby. It was the beginning of a new wave of development. With intensive therapy, constant love, and emotional security, Sophia began to form more words. Simple sentences. Genuine communication. It wouldn't be easy. She was still blind, still had delays. But she was alive, loved, present. Marina and Ricardo's son was born in a beautiful spring. A boy they named Davi. Sophia held her little brother under supervision, her face lit up with happiness. Bye, she repeated, gently touching his tiny hands. Yes, my love, Ricardo said, embracing the whole family. Your brother. Our family. That night, with Davi sleeping in the crib, Sophia finally in her bed, Lucas snoring in the next room, Ricardo and Marina lay down exhausted. Can you believe it started with a job ad? Marina said, laughing. I believe, Ricardo kissed her, that it started with a brave woman who saw beyond the darkness, who taught a lost girl to find the light, and who taught a broken man to live again. We still have a long road ahead, Marina said. Sophia will need support her whole life. People still judge us. Helena still. I know, Ricardo interrupted. But we'll face it together. As we always have. And so they slept, entwined, an unlikely family, imperfect, but real. But destiny, cruel and unpredictable, had other plans. Sophia was 5 years old when she began having seizures. The first happened during breakfast. One moment she was sitting there, holding her juice cup, babbling words to Davi. The next, her body stiffened, her eyes rolled back, foam began to come out of her mouth. Sophia! Marina screamed, holding her daughter. Ricardo! Call an ambulance! At the hospital, the diagnosis was devastating. An aggressive brain tumor, likely resulting from complications of prematurity and the traumas suffered in her early years of life. How long? Ricardo asked, his voice breaking. With treatment, 6 months to a year. The oncologist replied, eyes downcast. It's operable, but the location is delicate. Surgery could leave her in a vegetative state. Without surgery, the tumor will grow. And if we operate? Marina held Ricardo's hand. A 30% chance of survival. And even if she survives, the sequelae would be severe. She is already blind and has cognitive delays. After surgery, she may lose mobility, the speech she fought so hard to develop. It was an impossible choice. That night, Ricardo and Marina didn't sleep. They held Sophia between them, listening to her calm breathing, as if every breath were a gift. I can't make this decision, Ricardo cried. How do I choose whether my daughter lives or dies? We ask her, Marina said. Ricardo looked at his wife, incredulous. She's 5 years old, Marina. How? Sophia is smart, Marina insisted. We'll explain it in a way she can understand. And we'll let her participate. In the following days, with the help of child psychologists, they explained it to Sophia. They used dolls, textures, simple stories. There is a bad creature in your head, Ricardo explained, his voice trembling. And the doctors can try to remove it. But it will hurt a lot. And you might not wake up. Sophia stayed quiet for a long time. Then, with the small voice she had fought so hard to develop, she said, Ma, what? Or we cannot do the surgery, Marina cried. And you'll stay with us without pain for a while. But the creature will grow bigger. Who hurts? Sophia asked. The surgery hurts, Ricardo admitted. But the doctors will try to make you not feel it. Sophia touched her own face, then Marina's, then Ricardo's. Stay? She asked. We stay with you, Marina promised. Always. No matter what you choose. Sophia thought. A 5-year-old child, blind, with cognitive delays, making the hardest decision any human being can make. Sir, she tried. Surgery? Ricardo help. Yes, Sophia decided. The surgery was scheduled for 2 weeks later. In those weeks, Ricardo and Marina made every day a celebration. They took Sophia to see the sea, let her feel the waves licking her feet. They had a picnic where she ate ice cream until she got a stomachache. They filled the house with music, laughter, love. Lucas, 10 years old, understood that he might lose his sister. He slept in her room every night, holding her hand. "You're the bravest person I know," Lucas said the night before the surgery. "Braver than superheroes, braver than astronauts. You're my heroine." Sophia smiled, that crooked smile that lit up the world. "Lucas," she said. "Brother." "Forever," Lucas promised, tears streaming. "You'll make it. You're strong." Davi, only 2 years old, didn't fully understand. But he gave wet kisses on Sophia's face, as if he knew she needed them. The morning of the surgery arrived cold and gray. Sophia was calm, holding Marina's and Ricardo's hands as she was prepared. "Pa," she said, touching both their faces. Love. "So much love," Marina cried. "So much love that it will bring you back to us." "We'll be waiting," Ricardo promised. "And when you wake up, we'll have ice cream of every flavor." Sophia was taken away. 7 hours of surgery. 7 hours of hell. Ricardo and Marina walked the hospital corridors like ghosts. Lucas prayed in the chapel. Davi slept in Marina's mother's arms. Finally, the doctor appeared. He was tired, with deep dark circles under his eyes. But there was something on his face that made Marina's heart almost stop. "The surgery went better than we expected," the doctor said, allowing himself a small smile. "We managed to remove 95% of the tumor. Sophia is alive." Marina fell to her knees, sobbing. Ricardo held her, trembling himself. "But," the doctor raised a hand, "she is still in an induced coma. The next 48 hours are critical. If she wakes up, we still don't know what level of sequelae there will be." The 48 hours were the longest of everyone's lives. Sophia remained connected to machines, quiet, far too small in that hospital bed. Marina didn't leave her side for a minute. She sang all the songs Sophia loved, told stories, described the world outside. "It's raining today," Marina said, holding her little cold hand. "But tomorrow it will be sunny. And when you wake up, we'll go to the park. I'll push you on the swing really high. You'll feel the wind on your face. Please, my love. Please wake up." On the morning of the 3rd day, while Marina slept uncomfortably in the chair beside the bed, a sound woke her. "Ma." Marina jumped up, alert. Sophia's eyes were open. Those cloudy blue eyes that didn't see but were alive, conscious. "Sophia!" Marina screamed. "Ricardo! Doctor!" She woke up. The medical team rushed into the room. Tests were done. Reflexes checked. "It's a miracle," the doctor said, shaking his head. "She's responding. She's fine." In the following weeks, Sophia recovered slowly. She lost some mobility on the right side of her body and needed physical therapy. But she was alive. She was there. And something incredible happened. Her speech improved. Doctors explained that removing the tumor had relieved pressure in areas of the brain responsible for language. Mom, Sophia said clearly one day. Marina cried like she never had before. "Yes, my love. I am your mother. I love you," Sophia completed. There were months of recovery. Some bad days, many good days. Sophia returned home in a wheelchair, but she was alive, smiling, speaking complete sentences. "I want ice cream," she asked on her first day home. "Ice cream of every flavor," Ricardo promised, keeping the promise he made before the surgery. The family of 5 sat in the garden, eating ice cream under the afternoon sun. Lucas pushed Sophia's wheelchair across the lawn, making her laugh. Davi tried to feed his sister, getting everyone covered in chocolate. "This is it," Ricardo said to Marina, watching the scene. "This is why we're here. For these moments." But life, in its cruel irony, rarely allows completely happy endings. 2 years after the surgery, when Sophia was 7 years old and finally living an almost normal life, the tumor returned. This time, it was inoperable. How long? Marina already knew the question by heart. 3 months, maybe 6, the oncologist replied. We can do palliative chemotherapy to buy more time, but she will suffer, Ricardo finished. Yes. They returned home in silence. How do you tell a 7-year-old child that she is going to die? But Sophia, in her wisdom beyond her years, already knew. The creature came back, she said simply. I know. How do you know? Marina asked, hugging her daughter. I feel it, Sophia touched her head. It's here again. But it's okay. It's not okay. Ricardo shouted, unable to contain the pain. It's not fair. You fought so hard. You deserve to live. Daddy, Sophia held his hand, I lived. I have you, I have Mom, I have Lucas, I have Davi. I lived. At 7 years old, Sophia was wiser than many adults would ever be. The final months were precious. Sophia asked to make a list. Things she wanted to experience before leaving. The list included swimming with dolphins, seeing snow, riding a roller coaster, having a dog, going to a music concert, baking a cake by herself, camping and listening to cricket, telling everyone she loves that she loves them. Ricardo and Marina made every item happen. They traveled to a place where Sophia could swim with dolphins, laughing as they swam around her. They went to the snow where she made snow angels, feeling the cold flakes on her face. I can't see, she said, but I can feel. And it's beautiful. They adopted a golden retriever that Sophia named Soul, because it brings light even when it's dark. At the music concert, Sophia felt the vibrations of the sound in her chest, danced in her wheelchair, radiant. They baked a cake that turned out terrible, but Sophia laughed so much that everyone cried with joy. They camped in the backyard, and Sophia listened to the crickets, the owls, the sounds of the night. It's like music, she said in wonder. And every day she told people she loved them. To Ricardo, to Marina, to Lucas, to Davi, to Sol, to doctors, nurses, even strangers on the street. Why do you say you love people so much? A reporter asked. Sophia's story had spread, inspiring thousands. Because when I'm gone, Sophia answered simply, I want everyone to remember that they were loved. In the end, she was right. 3 months after completing the list, Sophia began having intense headache. Doctors increased the pain medication, but she was tired. I want to go home, she asked. I want to be with my family. They set up a special room in the living room, with a view of the garden. Sophia could hear the birds, feel the sun, be surrounded by those she loved. Helena appeared one last time. Sober, humble, destroyed. I know I don't have the right, she said at the door. But can I say goodbye? Ricardo looked at Marina. Marina looked at Sophia. Sophia, your mother. Helena wants to see you, Marina said softly. Sophia stayed quiet. Then she nodded. Helena entered, a shadow of the woman she once was. She knelt beside the bed. Sophia, she began, but the words failed. It's okay, Sophia said. Then, with effort, she raised her hand and touched Helena's face. You were sick. I understand. You shouldn't understand, Helena cried. I tried. I almost. But you didn't, Sophia smiled. And I had Daddy, I had Mom Marina, I had a good life. Don't be sad. How can you forgive me? Because anger hurts the one who feels it, Sophia said with impossible wisdom. And I don't want to leave with anger. Helena hugged her daughter for the first and last time. Then she left, broken, but somehow free. The final week was peaceful. Sophia slept more. When she woke up, she smiled, listened to stories, held everyone's hands. I'm afraid, she admitted one night, holding Marina and Ricardo. Of what, my love? Marina asked, her voice trembling. Of forgetting you. Of you forgetting me. Never, Ricardo promised. You will live forever in our hearts. In Lucas. In Davi. In everyone you touched. And I'll remember you, Sophia decided. Wherever I go, I'll remember. On the morning of the last day, Sophia woke up weaker. Everyone was there. Ricardo, Marina, Lucas, now 12, Davi 4, Sol lying at the foot of the bed. It's time, Sophia whispered. No, Marina cried. Please, no. It's okay, Sophia smiled. I'm not afraid. I'm tired. We love you so much, Ricardo held his daughter's hand. So much. I know, Sophia said. I felt it every day. And now I'm going to rest. Lucas kissed his sister's forehead. You're my heroine, he said. Forever. Davi, not fully understanding, placed his favorite stuffed animal beside Sophia. So you won't be alone, he said. Thank you. Sophia smiled at the little brother she would never see grow up. Marina sang the lullaby Sophia had loved since she was a baby. The same song that had pulled her out of the darkness years earlier. And as she sang, Sophia closed her eyes. Her breathing slowed. Slower. And then stopped. The silence that followed was absolute. Marina held her daughter's body, rocking her as she had when Sophia was a baby. No, 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 she repeated, as if she could bring Sophia back by sheer will. Ricardo held them both, his body shaking with sobs. Lucas fell to his knees, crying silently. Davi began to cry, not understanding, but feeling the pain around him. Sol whimpered, resting his head on the bed, as if saying goodbye too. Sophia was gone. At 7 years old, after a short but intensely lived life, she rested. The funeral was immense. Hundreds of people attended. People whom Sophia had touched with her words, her wisdom, her ability to love unconditionally. Ricardo gave the speech, his voice trembling yet strong. My daughter lived only 7 years. But in those 7 years, she taught more about love, forgiveness, and courage than most people learn in an entire lifetime. She was born blind, faced terrible obstacles, endured pain no child should ever endure. But she never became bitter. She never became angry. She loved. Intensely. Unconditionally. And that love, he looked at Marina, that love saved not only me, but everyone who knew her. Marina couldn't speak. Instead, she placed a letter she had written inside the coffin, next to Sophia. My eternal daughter. You entered my life as a task, a job. But you became my reason for living. You taught me that love has nothing to do with blood, perfection, or sight. You taught me how to see with the heart. I promise I will continue your list. I will keep telling everyone I love that I love them. I will keep finding beauty in the darkness. Because you showed me how. Until we meet again, my ray of sunshine. My brave girl. My miracle. With eternal love. Mom, Marina. The years passed. Ricardo and Marina founded an organization in Sophia's name, helping visually impaired children and their families. Lucas grew up and became a doctor, specializing in pediatric oncology. Davi, even without remembering his sister very clearly, grew up hearing her stories and became a gentle, compassionate young man. And at home, in the garden where Sophia used to play, they planted a sensory garden. Aromatic plants, wind chimes, different textures, a place where blind children could explore, feel, and live. At the center of the garden stood a statue. A girl with her hands outstretched, smiling. And a plaque read, Sophia Mendez, 2018 to 2025. She could not see with her eyes. But she saw with her heart. And she taught the world to see as well. 10 years after Sophia's death, Marina was in the garden with her third child. Yes, she and Ricardo had another baby, a girl they named Sophia, in her honor, with a different spelling. Mommy, little Sophia, now 4 years old, asked, Who is the girl in the statue? Marina knelt down and held her daughter's hands. She is your sister. She left before you were born. But she is the reason this family exists. She taught us how to love. Was she beautiful? She was the most beautiful person I have ever known. Marina smiled through tears that never truly disappeared. Inside and out. Will I meet her someday? Someday, Marina promised. And when you do, She will hug you and tell you she loves you. Because that's what Sophia did. She loved. That night, Marina lay beside Ricardo. Do you think we did the right thing? She asked. Letting her have the surgery? Giving hope when? We gave her 2 extra years, Ricardo replied. 2 years of love, life, and joy. She swam with dolphins, felt the snow, loved and was loved. Yes, we did the right thing. I miss her so much. Me too. Every day. But she's here. Ricardo placed his hand over Marina's heart. She always will be. And it was true. Sophia lived in every act of kindness they performed, in every child they helped, in Lucas saving lives at the hospital, in Davi standing up for classmates who were bullied, in Sophia learning to play the guitar. Sophia left at 7 years old. But her legacy would be eternal. Because some people are made of light. And when that light goes out, it doesn't disappear. It spreads, illuminating everyone it touched, who then continue to radiate that light to others. Sophia could not see. But she saw. She saw the world as it should be, full of love, forgiveness, second chances, and beauty even in the darkness. And she taught everyone around her how to see as well.